What's up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Jess Nicole here. If you are new to the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and be sure to follow me on my socials at the Jess Nicole, at Jess Right Fitness on Instagram. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a full body stretch routine that is done solely on your mat. I like to call this a lazy stretch routine because this is a routine for someone who knows they need to get a full body stretch in, but you don't feel like doing all the standing, all the poses, all the positions, all the transitions into different yoga poses and stretches. So everything we're going to be doing today is going to be done strictly on your mat. And I've got my lovely Teddy and Bella dressed in their cute little Christmas sweaters to help me. So go ahead and grab your yoga mat and let's get started. So first and foremost, we're going to start in a seated pike position with your knees straight and your upper body bent at the waist. You want to try to keep your spine as straight and as elongated as you can here, and reach for your ankles or your toes, whichever is the most comfortable. And for me, I like to kind of just pedal out my feet here to give my calves a good stretch and really stretch out that Achilles tendon. While I'm here, I like to come back up, take a deep breath, exhale, and slowly come back down. And as I come down, I get a little bit deeper each time. So I'm just going to sit here in the same stretch and just really warm up my hamstrings and just kind of feel my body, feel where I'm tense at. And we're going to come back and do the same thing one more time, slowly, but get even deeper into your stretch. This stretch routine is going to be done very slowly, so be patient with me, guys. I really want to get deep into these stretches. I want to open up space in the body. I want to release any tensions in the muscles. So take this time to be with yourself and to do what's good to your body. And with all that being said, we are now going to come out of that stretch and prepare for a seated one-leg straddle stretch. So go ahead and turn on your mat. I have my left leg out, my right leg is bent, and you're going to fold forward to whatever way your body is facing, not necessarily straight towards the mat. So take a deep breath and slowly fold forward. And if you cannot fold forward all the way to the ground, that is completely fine, even if it's just to your elbows, even if it's just to the tips of your fingers, just as long as you're feeling a stretch in your inner left thigh. And from here, I'm gonna walk my hands over to the center. So now we are completely centered with the mat, and I'm gonna just take a few deep breaths here and feel a stretch in this side too. And we're gonna sit in this stretch for a few moments. This stretch is great for stretching out the inner thighs and the hamstrings and really creating that mobility and flexibility in your hips. And now we are going to come out of that and do the exact same thing on the other side. So you're going to have your right leg out, your left leg is going to be bent, and you're going to fold forward to whichever is square and parallel towards your hips. So again, let's take a deep inhale here, and on your exhale, go ahead and fold forward to whatever is your limit. And now we are going to slowly come out of that and prepare for a regular wide leg straddle. So both legs are going to be out. Have both your feet flexed and pointing forward. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in, exhale, and slowly fold forward towards the ground. And we'll sit here for a few moments also. Continue taking your deep breaths, and with each breath, make sure you get a little bit closer to the ground. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, let's go ahead and start walking your hands back to the starting position, and we're going to prepare for our next stretch. Next, we're going to start stretching the upper body. So I'm going to take my left arm and bring it to my right foot, all while stretching out that left side body. If you can't bring your left hand all the way to your foot, then that's completely fine. I would say just stretch to as close as what you can get. The main thing with this stretch here is that you want to reach up first and then to the side. So this is keeping your chest open and making sure that you're not letting your head and your upper body fall forward. And we're gonna go ahead and come out of that and prepare for the same thing on the other side. So now I'm reaching for my left foot with my right hand. And again, guys, if you can't touch all the way, then that's completely fine. You know your own personal limits. So never do anything that feels uncomfortable to you. This stretch is great if you sit down all day or if you ever have any lower back pain, because this stretch stretches out that quadratus laborum, which is a muscle that is used to sit, to stand, to walk. So this stretch is great for loosening up any tension in that lower back. So let's go ahead and come out of that stretch, and we're going to prepare for our next stretch, which is going to be working your inner thighs. This next stretch is going to be great if you're trying to get a middle split. First, you're going to start by propping up onto your right knee like so. With your left foot out, you're going to be bouncing kind of on your left heel. And the motion for this stretch is kind of flossing through that hip joint back and forth. As you see, I'm kind of using my hand to push my thigh forward and roll it backwards to really just open up some space in those hips. Now bring your hands down to the floor, and we're gonna get a little bit deeper into that inner thigh stretch. So from here, just kind of push yourself backwards and lean yourself forwards. Keep repeating this motion and you'll definitely feel a stretch in your inner thigh. And coming out of that stretch, go back into the original position. And now you're gonna take your left elbow and place it on the ground and let your right arm come up to the ceiling. Let your gaze come all the way up. This is a great upper body twist stretch. You will feel this throughout your entire body. This can be an intense stretch if you're a beginner to stretching, so go easy here. Continue breathing, and if you can't look all the way up or you can't come all the way down, then work into that. Now we're gonna come out of that stretch and prepare to do the exact same stretch transitions on the other side. So let's go ahead and come up onto your left knee. You're gonna have your right foot out, and remember, we're kind of balancing on our heel. Let's go ahead and floss through that hip joint, pushing your thigh forwards and rolling it backwards to really open up those hips. And just like we did on the other side, we're gonna come onto our hands and begin pushing our hips back and bringing them forward. Keep moving through this motion so you can really feel that stretch in your right inner thigh. And now coming up, let's take your right elbow and bring it to the ground. Let your chest open up and bring your gaze upwards, along as bringing your left arm upwards. Reach for the sky and really feel that stretch in your upper body. Okay, so let's slowly untwist out of this stretch and come back onto our knees. And we're gonna put that right foot back out, except this time, instead of balancing on your heel, you're gonna put your whole foot down and slowly sink into a side lunge. This is really great for working that inner thigh, those adductors, the hamstrings. This is a really great stretch if you're trying to get into your middle split also. And this definitely will be challenging if this is your first time doing it, so slowly sink into it. As you can see, I kind of sink into it, I come out, I relax, and I get back into it. And once you're comfortable there, go ahead and take your left hand to your back thigh and bring that right arm up. So this is actually just gonna put you a little bit deeper into that lunge stretch, and you're also gonna feel this in your upper body. Phew, let's go ahead and come out of that side stretch and sink back into that lunge. From here, I kind of just like to play in my stretch because it's really uncomfortable to just sit here. So I kind of like to move my upper body in and outwards. This puts a little bit more pressure and less pressure at the same time. All right, now that that is all said and done, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and take that left foot flat to the floor and slowly slide into that lunge. Go ahead and kind of bounce here and get used to what it's gonna feel like as you're sitting in the stretch. So again, don't forget your breathing techniques here. Let's take an inhale as we come out of the lunge and a deep exhale as we go back into it. And again, let's get into that side stretch. So right hand comes to the back of your right thigh, left hand comes over. Get deeper into your lunge and feel that really good stretch on your side body. And coming out of that side stretch, let's go ahead and play in this side lunge a little bit. Really feel your muscles relaxing and releasing tension. And feel yourself get a little bit deeper into your lunge as you keep doing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and come out of that stretch and we're gonna give our hips a break. So go ahead and turn your body towards the front of your mat and let's sit back onto our ankles. So put your hands slightly behind you and kind of rock back and forth while you're sitting on your ankles. So what this is doing is stretching out the front of your thighs, your quadriceps, and it's gonna give your front of your ankles a really good stretch. A lot of people do not think to ever stretch out their ankles, but it's very important to do that as well. And I know this can be uncomfortable, so let's go ahead and come out of that. And now we're gonna stretch our toes. So go ahead and tuck your toes while you're sitting on your knees and sit back into them and feel the pressure of your toes stretching. This is definitely gonna be uncomfortable if you've never done it before, so feel free to come out of it and go back into it. You don't necessarily have to sit here for the entire time. So let's go ahead and come out of that position and then let's prepare for a quad stretch. So sit back onto your heels and come onto your left heel of your foot. And what you're gonna do here is kind of push your hips forward. Feel yourself squeezing your glutes and pushing your hips forward. And what this is gonna do is stretch out that right quad. So kind of play in this. You can see that I'm kind of swaying back and forth and you can really feel it stretching the different muscles in your quads. So now we're gonna come out of this stretch and we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So go ahead and sit that right heel forward and again, start pushing through your hips and you'll feel a really good stretch in that left quad muscle. So now we're gonna slowly release this pose and let's go ahead and take a seat on your mat facing one side of your mat long ways. Now we're gonna get into another hip opener. So we're gonna do fire log pose, which is your knee to ankle. So I'm gonna take the left shin and bring it on top of my right shin and have it parallel to my mat. And then I like to take a twist here. So take your left hand to your right knee and go ahead and try and take a twist as far as you can. Focusing on the breath here, you're gonna take an even deeper twist with each exhale. This is a little 2-in-1 pose here, so your hips are getting a great stretch, all while your upper body is also getting a good spinal stretch. And slowly release out of that twist, and now we're going to come completely out of the stretch and do the exact same thing on the other side. So now we're going to take my right shin and stack it on top of your left shin. Make sure you are parallel with the mat. Bring your right hand to your left knee and go ahead and take a deep breath in, and when you exhale, take a twist. Be sure to keep breathing here, and with each exhale, get a little bit deeper into your twist. So now let's slowly come out of that stretch, and I just like to take a little twist here, guys. We just did a really intense full body spinal stretch. So go ahead and just twist it out, shake it out, warm up that spine, get that vertebrae moving, get the joints moving, and let's prepare for our next stretch. So go ahead and turn your body towards the front of your mat, and we're gonna come onto all fours. Our focus for this next stretch is a wrist stretch. So you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna turn your fingers towards you, and then you're gonna push backwards onto your heels. And you're gonna feel a stretch throughout your forearms, throughout your wrists, come back forward and push back again. Your wrists are another part of your body that people tend to forget to stretch. So if you do a lot with your hands, this is a great stretch for you. And now we can release that stretch. So go ahead and turn your hands back to the starting position. And now we're gonna prepare for a chest stretch. So you're gonna take your left hand and you're gonna come onto your left elbow. Take your right hand and reach for the sky, turn your chest outwards and bring your gaze upwards. This is gonna stretch out that right pectoral muscle. This is another pose that I like to kind of play in, so I like to kind of just move my hand more backwards, pull it side to side, just really giving that muscle a lot of range of motion. And now we're gonna release that stretch, and let's do the same thing on the other side. So right elbow comes down to the mat, bring your left arm up and bring your gaze upwards. And go ahead and release that stretch. Let's come back onto all fours. From here, turn your body towards the side of your mat, and we're gonna work on a little bit of shoulder mobility here. So bring your arms straight up and out like a T, and you're gonna kind of pulse backwards. This is gonna stretch out that pectoral muscle again, giving your chest a really good stretch. Now let's take your hands behind your head and bring them down behind your back. And we're gonna repeat this a few times because this is really giving the mobility to those rhomboids in your back and a lot of your shoulders and deltoid muscles as well. So again, let's come back up and take a deep breath back down. Now let's go ahead and take a turn on your mat and lay flat on your stomach. We're gonna prepare for a good spinal stretch doing cobra pose. So for this pose, you wanna make sure that your pelvis and your feet are rooted to the floor as you lift through your chest. So don't necessarily push through your hands and your wrists. You actually should have a slight bend in your arms because you're lifting through your chest and letting your head fall backwards. So let's come back down, take a deep breath in, slowly exhale and come back up. And coming back down, now we're gonna go into upward dog. So with upward dog, you are gonna be pushing through your arms and your pelvis may even lift off the floor a little. This is just giving your spine an even deeper stretch. Be sure to keep breathing here, maybe even move your shoulders from your left to your right, just to increase the stretch a little bit. Now let's slowly come down and out of that stretch, and we're gonna prepare for a hip stretch. So this next stretch is a little weird. I'm not even sure what it's called. I actually learned it from a ballet dancer. So you're gonna take the two soles of your feet and put them together, which is gonna form like a diamond shape with your legs. And from here, you're gonna kind of push one foot down, bring the other back, and so on and so forth.
So this movement is stretching out everything from your lower back to your knees to your hip flexors, really getting into those lower body joints and opening up space and just moving them in ways they're not used to be moving. And this stretch will conclude our on the mat full body stretch session. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this helps benefit you and helps to add some flexibility and more range of motion into your life. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to drop a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!